The Easter long weekend well and truly over, and authorities are walking a really thin line between letting us out of the COVID cage and keeping the gates shut to slow the spread. Other countries are moving ahead. Spain loosened its lockdown measures overnight to get people back to work. They handed out face masks in the street, but the country has been really hard hit, so there's certainly a long way to go there.
National Cabinet will meet on Thursday to discuss softening restrictions amid predictions of more job losses. It comes as the World Health Organisation releases strict new guidelines for nations that are considering easing lockdowns. Across the country, new infection rates are low, although testing was down at Easter. But an outbreak in Tasmania has closed hospitals and forced 5,000 people into quarantine. Police will today brief the New South Wales Premier on the Ruby Princess homicide investigation, with the focus now on the ship's kitchen. There are reports this morning AFL clubs have a target of late June for the competition to resume. Overseas, America's death toll has passed 22,000. 185 countries have cases of COVID-19. Almost 1.9 million people have been infected globally. The death toll is more than 116,000, but more than 440,000 have recovered.
Around Australia, there have been 41 new infections reported in the past day. There are 6,366 confirmed cases. The death toll has risen to 61. Nearly 3,500 people are listed as recovered. New South Wales increased by just 9 cases to 2,863. In Victoria, there are 1,281 cases of COVID-19. In Queensland, there's a total of 987. Western Australia has 523 confirmed cases. South Australia has 431 people with coronavirus. Tasmania has seen a big increase to 150 cases. There are 103 in the Australian Capital Territory, and there are 28 in the Northern Territory.
We have the latest developments this morning from our team of reporters. First is 7 News political reporter Olivia Leeming in Canberra. We've been given new guidelines to ease the tough lockdown measures, Olivia.
Yeah, the World Health Organisation has warned against easing restrictions too soon, insisting that countries must meet the following criteria: that they first must ensure that transmission is controlled, that their health system can detect and trace every case, minimise outbreak risks, have prevention measures, manage importation risks, and educate communities to adjust to the new norm. Now, National Cabinet is expected this Thursday to discuss plans to possibly eventually develop an exit strategy for Australia, but the Health Minister insists for now strict social measures must remain in place despite some encouraging numbers.
We are now seeing consolidation of the flattening of the curve. The latest data shows that we have had consistent growth in new cases of below 2% a day. That doesn't mean we're out of our challenge. There is still growth, and there could at any time be outbreaks and spikes.
Now, there's pressure from businesses to ease these restrictions, with new Treasury analysis released this morning predicting that Australia's unemployment rate will rise to 10% in the June quarter, nearly double what we saw earlier in the year, meaning some 1.4 million Australians will be out of work to help save lives. Nat?
7 News reporter Samantha Brett is at Port Kembla, where the Ruby Princess is docked. The New South Wales Police Commissioner will brief the state's Premier today on the investigation.
Yeah, that's right, Nat. Mick Fuller is set to meet with New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian this morning to tell her exactly how the criminal investigation is shaping up. It could take several months, though. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people that need to be interviewed, and Crime Stoppers has received 220 leads so far, so those will all need to be followed up. Now, if this isn't quick enough, well, the Premier is set to announce an independent inquiry that will take place alongside this criminal investigation. investigation. More problems overnight for the Ruby Princess. We saw one crew member actually removed, possibly due to complications as a result of COVID-19. We are hearing that crew member is in his 20s and that he was experiencing severe stomach pain. We now know that 66 crew members have tested positive for the virus. There are also reports this morning as to exactly the source of the virus on board the Ruby Princess that could possibly have started in the kitchen from a waiter. And of course, that waiter was serving hundreds, if not thousands of people on board the ship. The total number of deaths now from the Ruby Princess has reached 18. Nat?
And 7 News reporter Letitia Wallace is at Launceston General Hospital today. Letitia, a Ruby Princess case is believed to be behind a major crisis there.
That's right, Nat. The first coronavirus patient to be admitted to the Northwest Regional Hospital was a woman in her 80s in late March. Sadly, she passed away. We've now had 5 deaths in the state. 4 of those are linked to the Northwest. Today, Australian Defence Force personnel and medical assistance teams will arrive in the state to undertake a deep clean of the 2 facilities in the Northwest. From there, they'll hope to reopen the emergency department within 72 hours. Overnight, we recorded an extra 6 cases. 3 of those are healthcare workers, bringing the state's total now to 150.
Sunrise correspondent Bianca Stone is at a childcare centre at Jimboomba, south of Brisbane, where there are fears of an outbreak. Bianca, the centre has now been closed?
Nat, good morning. It's very quiet here this morning. Early Birds Childcare Centre has been advised to close temporarily, and anyone who's had contact with the infected person who is believed to be a child at the centre has been ordered to self-isolate for 14 days. A letter has been sent to parents and also staff at the centre advising them of the confirmed case and saying that the person attended the centre and was unknowingly contagious on the 1st and 2nd of April and also the 8th and 9th of April. That's the last 2 Wednesdays and Thursdays. The letter also goes on to say this does not reflect negatively on the centre or the person, that anyone can catch this virus. It comes as children right around Queensland prepare to go back to school, although most won't physically attend. The Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk, has announced that schools will be open, but only for vulnerable students and students of essential workers. For everyone else, it'll be learning from home online. Nat?
And Sunrise reporter David Woyward is in Melbourne. David, the AFL could restart competition by June.
Yes, it's all very tentative at this point, Nat. There has been no official word from the league yet, although we know that a number of clubs are now crying out for this competition to restart. Of course, they are losing money hand over fist at this point, and they want that start date as soon as it's safe to do so. The AFL has said that it would be revisiting this issue later this month for the potential for players to actually return to the training track early next month. But that first game, well, it wouldn't be before the end of June. The New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro, well, he spoke on Sunrise this morning in relation to the NRL. Of course, they've had that ambitious push to return to play as soon as possible.
The date itself is trivial at the moment. Yes, it's ambitious, and it's good to see an ambitious date, but let's go through the process at this stage. But it has to put in place, of course, the processes and methods that it will protect its players and those that are involved.
A very ambitious push there from the NRL. Of course, the AFL, though, being a lot more circumspect in its deliberations, Nat.
Yes, thank you very much to our team of reporters there. Here's Koshi.
With international and state borders shut, plus strict social distancing rules, the number of new coronavirus cases is falling every day. Australia is now one of the safest countries in the world. Here you can see we're flattening the curve. The blue columns represent the number of new cases. It's been falling since the 1st of April. Growth in new cases is now down to less than 2% each day. So how do we compare with the rest of the world? This graph shows the total number of cases against the number of days since the 50th case was confirmed. As you can see, the US has quickly soared above 500,000 people infected. Italy and Spain have slowed the rate of growth in coronavirus cases, but the numbers are still huge, nearly 167,000 in Spain. Coronavirus is spreading quickly across the UK. with no signs just yet of slowing. China managed to significantly flatten the curve within 30 days. In February, China saw around 70,000 new cases of coronavirus. With strict military-enforced lockdowns, the curve is flattening. On Sunday, there were just 120 new cases and 0 deaths. Italy has recorded the highest number of deaths from coronavirus in Europe. Nearly 20,000 people have died. Italy's lockdown has been extended to May 3. In the UK, cases have dramatically increased in the past 3 weeks. The number of deaths is approaching 11,000. And one of the government's senior scientific advisors warns the UK could soon be the worst affected country in Europe. The deadliest country right now is America. The first case of COVID-19 in the US was reported 82 days ago. There's now more than 557,000 cases and over 22,000 deaths. The curve shows no signs of flattening. Our US Bureau Chief Ash Mullaney joins us from New York. And Ash, Donald Trump has defended his handling of the crisis.
Yeah, this coronavirus briefing that's underway right now, Koshi, has taken every reporter in the room by surprise. The first 40 minutes have been dedicated to defending Donald Trump's handling of this crisis. He is well and truly on the attack right now after facing some criticism in the media for his handling of this. He's gone on to play a montage of really what appears to be a campaign-style video, playing clips of journalists who were downplaying the virus and clips of governors who were giving him praise. This is part of what Donald Trump had to say.
Remember this, everything we did, I was criticized because I was too early. If I waited longer, it would have been, you would have been criticized. If I went way early, if I went 3 months earlier, I would have been criticized for being way too early.
Wow.
Feels like some of those stories might have hit a nerve with the president. He has been tweeting this morning that it will be his authority to reopen the country's economy, but some of these governors now seem to be working together in what is a bit of a pushback to the president. We've seen Andrew Cuomo announce that he's forming a coalition with 6 other neighbouring states to look at their own strategy to reopen the economy. But yeah, Donald Trump certainly on the attack at the moment.
Yeah, rewriting history, Ash. Thank you for that.